Question 1. A global analytics company needs to securely share large datasets stored in Amazon S3 with multiple AWS accounts. Access should be managed at the bucket level. No need to copy or duplicate data. Minimal operational overhead. Which AWS service provides the most efficient solution? Options: A. Enable cross-account IAM roles and grant S3 permissions. B. Use AWS Data Sync to transfer data between accounts. C. Enable S3 access points with cross-account permissions. D. Use AWS Glue to move the data into each account separately. Correct answer: C. Enable S3 access points with cross-account permissions. Explanation: S3 access points simplify access control for shared datasets across multiple AWS accounts. IAM policies on access points allow fine-grained permissions without modifying the bucket policy. More scalable and manageable than directly managing bucket policies or IAM roles. Why not other options? Option A. IAM roles require each account to assume roles, which adds complexity. Option B. AWS Data Sync is for bulk data transfer, not access control. Option D. AWS Glue is used for ETL and data transformation, not secure sharing. Question 2. A ride-sharing company wants to deploy a highly available API that handles millions of requests per second. Automatically fails over if one region is down. Minimizes operational complexity. Which AWS architecture meets these requirements? Options: A. Deploy API gateway with AWS Lambda functions in a single AWS region. B. Deploy an application load balancer, ALB, across multiple regions. C. Use Amazon Route 53 with latency-based routing and multi-region API gateway deployments. D. Deploy an EC2-based REST API with Elastic Load Balancer, ELB, in one AWS region. Correct answer: C. Use Amazon Route 53 with latency-based routing and multi-region API gateway deployments. Explanation: Route 53 latency-based routing directs users to the nearest API gateway deployment. Multi-region deployment ensures high availability and automatic failover. AWS Lambda provides a serverless, scalable API backend. Why not other options? Option A. A single region deployment has no failover. Option B. ALB does not support cross-region load balancing. Option D. EC2-based REST APIs introduce high operational overhead and regional failure risks. Question 3. A media company needs to run large-scale log analytics jobs daily. Each job processes terabytes of data. Cost is a major concern. Compute resources should scale dynamically. Which AWS service is the best solution? Options: A. Amazon Redshift with reserved instances. B. Amazon EMR with spot instances. C. Amazon RDS with a red replica for analytics. D. AWS Lambda with an S3 event trigger. Correct answer: B. Amazon EMR with spot instances. Explanation: EMR is optimized for big data analytics, Hadoop, Spark, Presto, etc. Spot instances provide up to 90% cost savings over on-demand instances. Automatic scaling allows cost-efficient processing. Why not other options? Option A. Redshift is ideal for structured data, but EMR is better for large-scale, unstructured analytics. Option C. RDS read replicas improve query performance but are not optimized for massive data processing. Option D. AWS Lambda has execution time limits and cannot handle terabytes of data efficiently. Question 4. A financial institution wants private connectivity to AWS services like S3 and DynamoDB from their on-premises data center. Traffic must not traverse the public internet. High security and low latency are required. Which AWS service provides the best solution? Options: A. Use a VPN connection with a private NAT gateway. B. Enable AWS Private Link for S3 and DynamoDB. C. Deploy an EC2 proxy server and route traffic through it. D. Use a Direct Connect Public Virtual Interface, VIF. Correct answer, B. Enable AWS Private Link for S3 and DynamoDB. Explanation: AWS Private Link provides private connectivity between VPCs and AWS services. Traffic does not pass through the public internet, ensuring security. Low-latency communication between on-premises and AWS. Why not other options? Option A, VPN still uses the public internet, making it less secure. Option C, an EC2 proxy adds complexity and maintenance overhead. Option D, Direct Connect Public VIF does not provide private access to AWS services. Question 5. A software company is building a multi-tenant SaaS platform on AWS. Each tenant's data should be isolated. The application should scale automatically. Minimal operational complexity. Which AWS design pattern should be used? Options: A. Deploy a separate VPC for each tenant. B. Use Amazon Cognito for user authentication and S3 bucket policies for data isolation. C. Create a single database and filter queries by tenant ID. D. Use separate EC2 instances for each tenant. Correct answer: B. Use Amazon Cognito for user authentication and S3 bucket policies for data isolation. Explanation: Cognito provides tenant-aware authentication and authorization. S3 bucket policies ensure that each tenant can only access their own data. Scalable and cost-effective solution for a SaaS model. Why not other options? Option A, managing multiple VPCs is complex and costly. Option C, a single database with tenant filtering increases security risks. Option D, separate EC2 instances for each tenant is not scalable or cost-effective. Question 6. A gaming company needs a high-performance, low-latency, NoSQL database for storing real-time player session data. Should handle millions of concurrent connections. Low read and write latency is required. Which AWS service is the best choice? Options: A. Amazon RDS with PostgreSQL. B. Amazon Redshift for storing session logs. C. Amazon DynamoDB with on-demand capacity. D. Amazon Aurora Serverless. Correct answer: C. Amazon DynamoDB with on-demand capacity. Explanation: DynamoDB is a fully managed NoSQL database with low latency reads/writes. On-demand capacity scales automatically based on traffic. Ideal for real-time applications like gaming and session tracking. Why not other options? Option A, RDS is not optimized for high-throughput NoSQL workloads. Option B, Redshift is for analytics, not real-time session storage. Option D, Aurora Serverless is better for relational workloads, not NoSQL. Question 7. A healthcare startup needs a disaster recovery (DR) plan for their Amazon RDS PostgreSQL database. The RDS instance runs in the East 1 region. In case of failure, a backup region should take over automatically. Minimize replication lag and ensure read consistency. Which solution provides the best disaster recovery strategy? Options: A. Enable Amazon RDS multi-AZ deployment. B. Create an Amazon RDS read replica in another AWS region. C. Use AWS Database Migration Service, DMS, to replicate to another region. D. Take manual RDS snapshots and restore in case of failure. Correct answer: B. Create an Amazon RDS read replica in another AWS region. Explanation: RDS read replicas can be promoted to standalone instances in case of failure. Cross-region replication minimizes downtime during a regional outage. Lower RTO, recovery time objective, compared to manual snapshots. Why not other options? Option A, multi-AZ is for high availability within a single region, not cross-region. Option C, DMS is better for heterogeneous migrations, not real-time replication. Option D, manual snapshots do not provide real-time failover. Question 8. A video streaming company needs to process real-time user interactions and store structured data efficiently. Data ingestion should scale dynamically. Storage must support fast lookups and aggregations. Cost should be minimized. Which architecture meets these requirements? Options: A. Use Amazon Kinesis data streams for ingestion and Amazon DynamoDB for storage. B. Use an EC2 cluster running Apache Kafka for ingestion and MySQL on RDS for storage. C. Use AWS Lambda to process events and store data in Amazon S3. D. Use an SQS for ingestion and store data in an Amazon RDS instance. Correct answer: A. Use Amazon Kinesis data streams for ingestion and Amazon DynamoDB for storage. Explanation: Kinesis data streams handles high-throughput real-time ingestion. DynamoDB is a scalable NoSQL database optimized for fast lookups. No need to manage infrastructure, making it cost-effective. Why not other options? Option B. EC2 plus Kafka requires manual scaling and is expensive. Option C. S3 is not optimized for low-latency structured data queries. Option D. SQS is not designed for real-time high-throughput event streaming. Question 9. A financial institution is building a serverless web application that requires high availability and auto-scaling, protection against SQL injection and XSS attacks, minimal management overhead. Which architecture provides the most secure solution? Options: A. Use API Gateway, Lambda, and an Aurora serverless database, with AWS WAF for security. B. Deploy the web app on EC2 with an application load balancer and AWS Shield Advanced. C. Use a self-managed MySQL database on EC2 and secure it with security groups. D. Host the app on Amazon S3 with direct access to an RDS database. Correct answer: A. Use API Gateway, Lambda, and an Aurora serverless database, with AWS WAF for security. Explanation: API Gateway provides a managed entry point with built-in security. AWS WAF protects against web attacks like SQL injection and cross-site scripting. Aurora Serverless provides an auto-scaling database with high availability. Why not other options? Option B. EC2 adds management overhead and does not scale serverlessly. Option C. A self-managed database lacks built-in auto-scaling and resilience. Option D. Direct S3 to RDS access is insecure and inefficient. Question 10. A manufacturing company needs to securely connect its on-premises data center to AWS. The connection must be stable with low latency. Traffic should be private and not traverse the public internet. Some workloads require access to AWS services like S3 and DynamoDB. Which AWS solution provides the best connectivity? Options: A. Use AWS VPN with a site-to-site connection. B. Use AWS Direct Connect with a private virtual interface, VIF. C. Use a NAT gateway and an Internet gateway for connectivity. D. Use AWS Transit Gateway with peering to on-premises networks. Correct answer: B. Use AWS Direct Connect with a private virtual interface, VIF. Explanation: Direct Connect provides a dedicated, low-latency link to AWS. A private VIF ensures that AWS services, S3, DynamoDB, are accessed securely. More reliable and cost-effective than VPN for high-bandwidth needs. Why not other options? Option A. VPN uses the public internet, leading to higher latency. Option C. NAT gateway exposes traffic to the internet, which is insecure. Option D. Transit gateway helps with VPC to VPC traffic, but not private AWS service access.